Hello everybody, this is Kari Schaefer, and because of the season, I've been putting out a series of videos of ways you can support yourself when you get sick, to avoid getting sick, and things like that. And today I want to talk about antibiotics, because antibiotics are super important to talk about. Anyway, so let's start with your body. So inside your body, you are made up of, believe it or not, trillions of microorganisms. Microorganisms are bugs, what you consider bugs. Microorganisms are the things that give you flus and sinus infections and respiratory infections. But you have a bunch of microorganisms in your system that we consider to be probiotics. They support you. They help you live. They help your immune system. You're actually made up of all of these trillions of bugs. Now, the harmony of those bugs, the diversity of those bugs determines the resilience of your health. So your microbiome is super important when we're looking at our health. Okay, so antibiotics against life, that's what it's called, antibiotic life. That's why they're called antibiotics. They go in and they kill off microorganisms. Now, this is a good thing if you have an infection that is really compromising your system and is threatening you in some way, shape, or form. I mean, really threatening you. However, we've become a little bit loosey-goosey with them. We use them a little bit too often. Actually, we use them a lot too often because people don't like the feeling of being sick. And I get it. Nobody likes to be sick. That said, the amount of antibiotics that we're using is creating some other real problems. And one of the problems that it's creating is it's really wreaking havoc in people's microbiomes. Okay, so let's look at this. I use the analogy of a war. So you've got a country, and say that country has a regime that is bad or is determined to be bad and people don't like it. And you go in with big bombs and you blow up the government and you eliminate the regime. Now, you can probably think of some instances where this has happened recently. And then after you're done doing that, there's this vacuum. And the vacuum is that there's nobody in charge. And when that vacuum happens, there's room. And what can happen often is other elements that are bad come in and they take over. So this can happen in your body. So you take antibiotics, and antibiotics will kill off the bad guys, but they will also weaken the good guys. And when that happens, now you're more predisposed. There's this extra space inside of you where other bad guys can develop and grow. So when someone's taking antibiotics, it's actually really important that their system is being monitored for months to make sure, because it can take that long for the microbiome to work itself out, for us to be certain that the good guys have won and there isn't another bad guy that's sort of taken over, creating sort of a chronic health drain that can lead to some other sort of health problem. Right? So you can see that not taking antibiotics is a really good idea if we don't need to. And I've posted some other videos where I talk about Chinese medicine and how important it is in helping you keep yourself off of antibiotics. So if you haven't seen those, you can go to my Facebook page, which is Kari, the number 4 health, and like it so that you get notices about posts I'm putting out, and you can read some of those other posts or watch some of those other videos where I talk about some other things you can do to keep yourself healthy during the season to help you avoid needing antibiotics. You know, the research has shown that when you take antibiotics for a sinus infection, you're much more likely to get that infection back again. When I work with people, I find the effects of antibiotics on their system at all times. Again, I am not saying no, never antibiotics, but I am saying let's use them for their intended purpose, which is to save lives, rather than using them because we're a little uncomfortable from a head cold, when there's other things that we can do that will ultimately support our immune system and make us a healthier, more vibrant person, rather than having to spend months recovering from the effects of the choice that we made. Anyway, this is Kari Schaefer. It's always my pleasure to share information with you and support you on your healing journey.